How can you be more intentional? Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button from wherever you're watching or listening so you don't miss any future episodes. Are you ready? Well, let's get started. Now, this is the second in a short 3-episode series that I'm calling New Year, New You. If you're watching this when this comes out, it's right about the end of the year, so it makes sense. But good news, whenever you're watching, it applies, I promise. And so last week in the first episode, we talked about insight. Today we're talking about intention. Now, I believe there are two kinds of intention. One kind is what I call the backward-looking intention. That's the intention where we say, well, like, I intended to do that, right? I was going to, I intended to do that. And so a lot of times when people hear that word intention, they think about that backward-looking sort of excuse-filled thing. They didn't do it, they intended to do it. But the other kind, the more powerful kind of intention, is the forward-looking intention. I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to do things with intention. I'm going to do things on purpose. I have a purpose for what I'm going to do. Now that is worth thinking about. That's the kind of intentionality that I want to help you build in the next couple of minutes. And I have 3 recommendations to help you do exactly that. First, know your why. Know your why for whatever it is that's in front of you. Because you might be watching this at the start of a new year, you might have some things you have in mind that you want to change or work on. What's your why? It's not about the thing, it's about why you're doing or desiring the thing. Know your why. And second, refer to your why, which means it needs to be written down. Everyone will say you should write down your goals, which I agree. You should also write down the why. Why does this matter to me? And then lastly, act based on your why. That's where the intentionality comes from. So the drive comes from the why, and the action comes in relationship or in alignment with the why, and that's where we become intentional. We can make decisions, we can take actions based on matching that all up with what our why is. You see, backward-looking intentions are how most people think about resolutions that you might be thinking about setting in February. Well, I intended to do that, right? Like all the people that are going to have the conversations with themselves in February about the resolutions that they set but didn't go on and take action on for very long, that's the backward-looking intention. So resolutions can't be intentions. They require resolve, determined action. And that's what being intentional is all about. How to be more intentional? Think about intentionality in a forward-looking way, driven by your why, leading to action. Let me close with today's remarkable reminder. The biggest key to reaching your goals is being intentional in your thoughts and actions aligned with those goals. Forward-looking intention wins. Some of you are listening to what I just said on the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. We're sure glad you're here. Some of you are watching me on Remarkable TV. You should join the podcast because the podcast doesn't just have these, but also has long-form interviews with leadership experts and expert leaders each week. Now, if you're watching this, you should be subscribed to the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. Go to wherever you get your podcast and subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you're subscribed. So in either case, you won't miss any future episodes like this one.